Okay.
Yeah, you're the guy.
Well, I'd just like to say thank you for all of you for coming out here today. We had some great news to announce at 11:55 last night. How House Representative House Bill 390 passed, and in that bill was an amendment that secured $250,000 for the air cargo building that we're in here today, that will be purchased and then transferred to the Air Force to be used as an embarkation, debarkation point for the military, thereby adding and augmenting the military capabilities of our base, which is very exciting. So we will no longer be just an air wing lift. We will no longer be just a aerial spray, but we will also be an embarkation, debarkation point. We will be there's 5 right now in the country. We will be the 6th if everything goes as we hope. This will add a huge economic benefit to our area and also help the base survive any BRAC closures that may occur in the future. But I wanted to have everyone here today because I think it's a big story on how this all came about and the collaboration that occurred between Lordstown Village, Eastern Gateway, our Valley delegation, the Western Port Authority, the Trumbull County Commissioners, all of us coming together, working together to make this happen. So I thought it was a good story and that it needed to be told. And basically what happened is in the capital budget process, we were disappointed that the base did not get the funding at that point to turn this into the embarkation point. So in brainstorming and talking with the Youngstown Warren Regional Chamber of Commerce, Guy Caviello knew that there was $250,000 in a previous project that didn't appear to be funded, would receive the go-ahead. It had the funding, but the project was no longer viable. Based on that, I had called Mayor Arnold Hill and the Eastern Gateway Community College, because they're the ones that had the money at that time, and discussed with them what we were trying to do and how we needed this $250,000 to be taken from their project and put here for the base. And through their collaboration and cooperation and talking with the colonel and all the interested parties, they agreed to give us the $250,000, which is huge. And then an amendment was drafted. It was put into the Senate version, brought over to the House, and last night at 11:55 we voted on it, and it will become law once the governor signs it. But I think it just shows how all of us coming together, it's a collaborative effort, and that's what is going to make this base grow. That's what's going to make this base survive. And all of us together understand the importance of it. And I can't thank the people that are standing with me and behind me that made this happen. From Colonel Dignan's idea to make it a embarkation, debarkation point, to Ron Klingel and the Western Port Authority going down and meeting with the Speaker, myself and Colonel Dignan, and getting the Speaker of the House to say that if we could get this $250,000, he would agree to put it into the budget, and that was big. And then the collaboration with my fellow state delegation, working with all of us together, get the amendment drafted, get the bill done, the Senate doing what they had to do, and then the House, we did what we had to do, and I'm just very excited about that.
Obviously, financially, it doesn't happen without the cooperation of Mayor Arnold Hill from Lordstown and Eastern Gateway Community College. Those were so key, those components were so key, but at the same time, as Sean mentioned, I was prepared to Sean and I prepared to draft the amendment in finance, but then we found out that we would be able to put it in a mid-biennium review, so we were able to get that in there. There were 40 pieces in that document. Only 3 were our side of the aisle, and this was one of the 3. So I think that's important, that of all the issues that were going on in the state, this was something that they took a look at. They were willing to take a shot at, and it was important that Lordstown, West Reserve Port Authority, the Colonel Digman, Eastern Gateway Community College, everyone worked together to make this happen.
What this will mean to the Mahoning Valley and to the Air Force Reserve and to the military in large part. As we prepare and begin to itemize and list our assets of success that we've had here, this facility that has largely been unused for over a decade. I remember when we started training to go to war in Iraq, we were doing our NVG training on this ramp over here, and this was vacant back in 2002. So this idea that was born by Colonel Dignan and the Air Force will largely make this base stronger as we review and begin to identify the assets that are most important for the Valley.
It's a wonderful opportunity to bring security to people that work here and then also that support the military bases in the nation too. It's really an important moment for us, and I'm glad to be a part of this delegation.
Now, organization and collaboration and creativity is how this came to fruition. And so, as I'm traveling the state, talking to different groups and going out to Wright Patton to see what they're doing, we try to bring those ideas back home as well. And the Chamber constantly bringing everybody together and having meetings so that we can all have discussions, so that we can come up with creative ways to grow this facility to continue its viability, I think is incredibly important. And as a Valley delegation, we are happy to do our part, and so we'll just continue working together and moving forward, and we appreciate all of you coming out.
And this delegation here worked hard with us to make this happen. Without the Port Authority and the Chamber and others all working in conjunction to make this happen, it just wouldn't have. Our Senate delegation working hard to get this done. Representative O'Brien the O'Brien brothers working together with the rest of our Valley delegation to make sure that we got this through was vital. Now we'd like to work forward with our Mahoning and Trumbull County EMA partners, the Red Cross, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, as well as Ohio Air National Guard to see this come to light, and actually something that the Valley can be proud of, to make the 910th Airlift Wing and the Air Force Reserve viable for the long run and the long term, and we can grow the mission here and further cement our long-term sustainability here in the Valley. So we thank you.
How quickly, once the governor signs off on it, could be up and running?
I think initially it'll be rather quickly. You'll see the Air Force over here operating now. Granted, there's some things we have to do as far as security and sustainment. We have to work out some of the issues on the land use agreement that we have with the Port Authority, but we have the entire team here. We're already in agreement. This was the hard part. So we've done the hard part. Now we have to get through, get the lawyers involved and make sure we get all the boxes checked and that we get the right things done so that the Air Force Reserve can roll in and turn this into a viable mission asset for the base.
It's really great, to see a regional effort. It was probably 20 years ago when we had Bring It Home Lordstown and everybody stood behind us. And, when you have an effort like this and you realize how much of an impact this place does for our whole valley, and as circumstances change, the money was in the state budget we could no longer use. And I got a call from Representative O'Brien, Sean, and he said, hey, any chance we can get into your wallet a little bit? And I said, well, hey, no problem, and I hope this project goes forward and the governor signs it, and hey, it's good for the whole valley.
And I think that's really important, because I did call him and say, hey, we need to borrow we need $250,000. Yeah. And for him to agree to that in Eastern Gateway, it just shows a great collaboration and understanding how important everyone knows this base is to our area. It is the third largest employer and economic impact in the area, and we can't have it going backwards. We need it to going forwards. Purchasing this building, doing what we're trying to do here, and continuing to do what we're doing here is going to ensure that it does not go down to number 4, but goes back up to maybe number 2 or 1. And that's what we're trying to do here, and thank you.